settles into his left.
Coach, I asked Josh about, the adjustments at halftime. He said y'all watched some clips and saw some things that y'all could improve on. What were some main things that you thought were, points of emphasis, and what'd you think of the execution second half to come out and outscore them by 14 and win that game?
First, we reintroduced our team to number 5 for them, Cam Carter. He's the guy we've been talking about, leading into this game. And, we knew that potential was there because of, him being here, and, who wouldn't want to come back to an old stomping grounds of yours and try to get buckets. And he was unbelievable the first 20 minutes. Just hats off to him for the way he played. I mean, all night for that matter. He competed at a high level. He had a really, really nice game, and certainly talked about that a lot. But they tweaked a couple of their sets that we hadn't seen going into the game, where they were setting some back screens with him, right? And our plan was to switch it, and then he would, after setting the back screen, he'd run to the ball. So we were switching it, staying topside. Well, instead of the guy receiving the screen, he just run away. So the guy guarding Cam Carter was thinking he was switching, and there was no one there to switch, so he would run free to the ball, and we hadn't seen that, so we shored that up. And then a couple other things in their zone offense that we tried to change. And then as the game progressed there in the second half, we started switching more ball screens. They were picking on Josh a little bit, trying to bang him up out front, and gain some advantages that way.
We'll go second row to Danny P.
Coach, Sean Jones misses a couple of free throws, but then he comes back and gets a big dunk, comes back and makes a couple later. Just talk about, I know you can't talk about his mindset in that little situation there, but just talk about how proud you were of him bouncing back from those 2 misses and getting the job done.
I mean, the drill with Sean. He always finds a way to be in the game when it's hard. I trust him in those situations. He knows, what we're trying to do. RJ obviously had some foul issues, so, he had more opportunities that way, and he just usually makes the right play. He usually makes the right play. To add to it, he had a big 3, and he just seemed really focused and locked in, and he was asking questions coming out of the game about the tweaks that I just mentioned and how we need to guard that, and just proud of his fight and his compete level, and but that's kind of what I expect from him.
We'll stay to coach's left with Benjamin.
Riley's efficiency numbers, his percentages the last couple of games hadn't been great, but today he was really big. It got you guys sort of off the mat with those first 2 3-pointers at the end of the first half. Ends up going 5 for 6 in double figures. What do you like from him today?
Yeah, it was a welcome sight. Since he's been inserted into the starting lineup, I don't think from a raw data perspective that he's been great. Certainly there's a lot more to it than what his stats say, especially on an old school stat sheet. But that's one of the best things about him is that's what he's supposed to do, right? Is fill it up a little bit that way, being a scoring option for us. And but we stuck with it. We stuck with the same lineup, although there was conversations to switch it up, but we stuck with it. And we didn't have a great run, when he started, even in this game. But we got back into the second time, and the ball went through the net. And anyone that's ever played the game knows what that does for your confidence. And I think it really boosted his, because it had been a while since he'd done that. And then I liked when he showed us physicality a couple times around the basket and kind of backed him down. And it was like it was a man's game. A couple of those possessions for him, and hopefully that's something he can continue.
We'll go to coach's right with Jacob.
Coach, you had a couple of tough performances coming into this game, but you get a big win. How important was this win kind of heading into this final stretch of SEC play?
I mean, it was as big a game as we had all year long. I mean, I probably repeat that a lot, but in this league this year, that's just the way it is. I mean, every game has got huge implications for a bunch of different things, and we talked at length about that, heading into this game, not just today, but the 2 days prior of when you're playing a team that is more than likely, right? It's a very, very small percentage that's going to play in the NCAA tournament. It can be hard. That's a different animal, and it's a different energy. It's a different, I'm playing with house money. Let's go out there and hoop. And the other team who is still playing for that type of situation sometimes, plays a little tight. They play not to lose and rather than to win. And I added to it, to be honest with you. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but I put some added pressure on them because I wanted them to feel that way. I wanted them to feel like it was a must-win And because I felt like it was, for a number of different reasons, net being one. And I wanted to see how they act in that pressurized situation, hoping that we're in those, type of games here shortly.
We'll stay to coaches right on the end, and then we'll go to David.
Yeah, just what was it like to coach a guy like Josh Day when he's in the second half there, when he's not only just, frankly unstoppable, but, just the way he did it with, he making shots from mid-range, outside, he was getting to the free throw line at a high rate, just, all that.
Yeah, I think he's obviously improved his game on both ends. I'm not sure last year he would have done quite as much inside the three as he did this afternoon. He missed some early looks that were wide open, and I think everyone was a little surprised. But love that he's at a place where he's worked so hard and he's gotten that experience now of how to get a guy on your hip, get in the lane and use his strength and his body and give a bump a little bit and then create a little space and fall away and make the shot. And then he's using his speed more on the offensive end to surprise people in situations. And then he's getting to the line. He got to the line, but he get in the line how many times tonight?
10 for
11. He was 10 for 11. Obviously, he's an efficient free throw shooter. So I was trying to get him some more rest there in the second half. But when we had that stretch where we had 3 immediate timeouts, I'm like, that's it, man. Like that's your rest. You got to stay on the floor. But I just thought he played with a tougher mindset. And what I love about Josh, and I've said it, I'm sure multiple times, is it's an amazing quality. I'm certainly not like that. Is when he plays the game and you don't know what the score is and you're just watching, you have no idea if he's had a 30 ball or he's 0 for 10. He has the same demeanor. It's a heck of a quality that's going to serve him well his whole entire life, especially athletically. But obviously I had nothing to do with that. But it's nice to have a guy out there that's kind of a calm amongst the storm sometimes.
Related to that, Josh took that interesting foul call early in the game. Would last year he have handled that as maturely and poised and stuck to it after a call like that went against him that didn't seem to go the right way, but he just stayed with it and didn't let it rattle him?
Are you trying to bait me? I'm not taking it. Those officials are high-level officials, and it's a tough game to officiate with the size and athleticism. But I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't lose his cool. He stays in the moment, and so I really don't know.
Got time for a few more. We'll go back to coaches left and Robbie.
You touched on Riley, and the talent is undeniable. You can see it. He had the big dunk, and you talked about him backing the guy in the post. Showed off some things today we haven't seen a lot of. He's had some up and down games. He's had some highs and some lows. I mean, when you're seeing games like this where he's really effective, what's he doing really well? And I mean, how does he harness that and give you that more consistently?
Well, that's the $1 million question: is how does he harness it and be more consistent and effective? For him and us right now. And we've tried a lot of different things, and he's stuck with it. I think he has been in a really good space for about 2 weeks now. The stat sheet doesn't show it, but his teammates see it, his coaches see it in terms of his approach to practice, his work, his all-in of being a part of us and the team and the togetherness part of it. And to be honest, I'm a little surprised that it hasn't equated to better numbers. So maybe this will be the impetus to get his confidence. He's hard on himself. He really is. He's hard on himself, too much, to a fault, where he really gets upset with himself when he makes a poor play or he misses a shot that he feels like he should have made. So that's something that he's obviously got to continue to work on, but him being consistent makes us a different basketball team.
Robbie, for a follow-up to wrap us up.
Just going back to what you said about, behind the scenes, what you're seeing at practice and things like that, how much has he grown in that regard? You can kind of see him happy for his teammates, things like that. I mean, what are you seeing there from when he got here and where he is now?
Yeah, I mean, just a huge amount of growth he's experienced. And, I can't say what it was like a year ago or 2 years ago. All I can comment on is since June till, March 1st, what's it been like? And, excuse me, it's been really cool. It's been really, really fun to be a small part of it. And I'm hoping that, you know, he realizes it too for now and for his future. But he's worked at it. He really has. He's really worked at it. And his teammates got to get a lot of credit too. Because we got a close group of guys, and they're encouraging him and bringing him in. And I think it's been fun to watch him grow like that.